And welcome to this edition of the Coach Kerry Johnson Sports Show. Join me, Coach Johnson, and Coach. A tough one on Friday night.
Yeah, it's losing, going 0-2, and they're starting 0-2 in the region is not exactly where we wanted to be. We knew this was going to be a tough region. Everybody thought, we stepped down in class, but we knew that it was going to be. We had some good teams in this region, and we're finding that out. And we got to figure out ways to get W's instead of being down on Friday night.
Well, we'll take a look at that game, look at what the region standings look like. Plus, we'll look ahead to this week's matchup, non-region matchup with Stone Memorial, right after this.
For more than a century, Union Bank has been serving the people of Fentress County. Now, as we begin a new chapter in our history of service, we want to take this opportunity to reassure you that while our building may be new, we're still the same friendly people you have known for years. Union Bank, the same people, the same goals, and the same commitment to you. Union Bank, your locally owned hometown bank for more than a century, growing to meet your needs. Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Back here with Coach Johnson and Coach. This past weekend, your guys just had trouble getting any offense going.
Yeah, anytime, we had anything going, we had drops. I believe we had 7 drops, and 4 would have been touchdowns. That would have changed dramatically. And then when we finally get something going, we get up 10-7. We're going to stop. We got them at around the 50 on the 4th down play, and they're not going to run a play. They're just going to try to draw us off sides, and if we don't jump, they're going to punt to us. We jump off sides, and then about 3 plays later, they score and go back up on us. We could have had the ball back there. And I think at that point we might could have done something, maybe put the game away, but it turns out they put the game away.
Coach, it's like your team's one-dimensional right now and they're having trouble running the ball at all.
Yeah, that's what we're going to work on a lot this week is figuring out ways to run the ball. We're going to, like I said, going to move some people around. Formation-wise, we'll change up a little bit of formation. We won't do a lot of anything crazy that's going to, well, these guys got to learn a whole new system or anything like that, but just change up a few things to try to create a little more places to run in there.
Coach, defensively, your team played well enough to hold on night at 21, and actually probably should have held them lower than that.
Yeah, we had a lot of the last score they got. We had a misplay on a stunt. We sent one guy was supposed to go on B and the other one C, or the one guy was supposed to go on A and one guy B. Well, they both went to A gap, and the guy ran B gap and went for the touchdown. And you cannot make that type of mistake, especially in a critical situation like on the 3rd down like that.
Coach, you did get one new weapon in. You got to see Caden Stover kick. He hit a 42-yard field goal. That's pretty good for high school.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that far when I sent him in there. I don't know. I might not have done it otherwise. And at the end of the game, it was about 4.5 minutes to go when we had the ball down there inside the 20 on a 4th and goal. I looked up at the clock, and I was contemplating kicking at that point and trying to make it a 21-13 game, and then, onside kicking. And hindsight being, 2020, I wish I would have gone ahead and done that. We just still had a chance maybe to onside kick, get the ball back, and maybe tie it up.
Coach, you mentioned it earlier. You had some penalties again, but not quite as many as the games before.
Yeah, we had 6 penalties. I think we had 6 penalties for about 50 yards or 40 yards. I can't remember the exact total, but it was no personal fouls. It was jumping off sides type thing. We had a chop block called, which I hadn't seen called, and it was looking at film on the play they called that on. I'm really not sure where it. I mean, I know who they called it on what happened, but I'm not really sure it should have been called. But it is what it is. They had one called on them as well. One of the biggest issues we had probably that hurt us the most in that game, and it was a total blown call, was a fair catch at the first of the game. And the guy fair catches it, and we stop, and he takes off running and runs the punt, sets up their first touchdown, and we're behind 7-0 in the first quarter. They would not have been up on us that quick.
Yeah, that was definitely we both called it. Gary and I both called it a fair catch because we saw him raise his hand up. But I said maybe we were down in Memphis.
I don't know. like I said, I watched it on. Maybe he didn't throw his hand up, and I saw, I didn't. So I didn't really say much. And then I watched it on film, and he was definitely waving for a fair catch. And so the next time, I don't know what to tell you guys. I said, don't pay any attention to a fair catch. Hit that guy. If we can't let him just run around us like that.
Yeah, it was, and that was another aspect of Caden's kicking the other night. Caden did a great job punting the ball.
Like I said, we spend a good 35 or 40 minutes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays on our special teams, and it's paying off on that end. We're winning special teams. We need to win one of the other two areas, offense or defense, one of the others at some point.
Coach, you got that was a big loss in the region. That's the tough part of it. It was you're 0-2 in the region now, and it's now become just a fight to get in the playoff.
Yeah, we have to win. We got to win. We got 2 region games left, and you got to win one. Right now we're focused on playing Stone, but you got a region game coming up there. But the week behind that, I'm hoping that we can build some momentum here. Go down there. I know a lot of people think that they're going to Stone will roll over us, but I think we can go down there and play with those guys, and maybe we can get a win there and get some momentum coming back up here for another region game here the next week.
Coach, you right now you've got Monterey and Oneida both at 2-0. Then you've got Rockwood at 0-1, Wartburg at 0-1. Then you are bringing the rear at 0-2. So those 2 final district games, region games, going to be huge.
Yeah, like I said, we got Wartburg's a week after next. That's an absolute must win, no doubt about that. I mean, loser pretty much is done, and if whoever loses that game. And then we got to go to Rockwood to end the season, and that's not going to be any easy task. A lot of people had those guys picked to win the thing.
Well, the Dragons this week go out of region play. They head on the road over to Stone Memorial. We'll take a look at the Panthers right after this.
For more than a century, Union Bank has been serving the people of Fentress County. Now, as we begin a new chapter in our history of service, we want to take this opportunity to reassure you that while our building may be new, we're still the same friendly people you have known for years. Union Bank, the same people, the same goals, and the same commitment to you. Union Bank, your locally owned hometown bank for more than a century, growing to meet your needs. Equal Housing Lender Member FDIC.
And back here with Coach Johnson. Coach, you got Stone this week. Stone has a familiar head coach.
Samber used to coach here. He's been there now, 3-4 years or something. We are going to be kind of familiar with him, with what they do, but they execute it real well. We know basically they're going to run the 3-3 stack and defense. And when the teams that a lot of teams run that type of defense anymore. The thing you got to do is you got to deal with a lot of stunts, because they're always going to bring at least one of those linebackers every play, and most of the time there'll be 2, and sometimes they'll bring all 3 of those guys. So you got to be prepared to be able to seal those gaps when our offensive line, or it will be a rough night trying to do any kind of anything in the between tackles.
Coach, as far as moving the ball, what do you got to do to move the ball against Stone?
I said we're going to do a few things a little different this week. Hopefully, maybe work on our blocking scheme a little more. We were pretty decent blocking last week, much better than the previous 2 weeks. We can improve a little more this week. I think we'll be okay, but we've got to. A couple times we had a crease there, and our backs didn't hit the hole a couple times too. So it's not all on the blocking. Sometimes our backs are actually missing the hole.
Defensively, what you got to do to stop them?
Do our assignments. I mentioned earlier we had a stunt called in a crucial play in Oneida, and both guys went in the same gap, and one was supposed to be going in the A gap, and the other guy was supposed to go in the B gap, and they both went in the same one. We can't have that mistake, especially if they're hitting that side. It leaves it wide open, and that's what happened to us in Oneida. We got to be smart and play our assignments.
And, of course, your special teams has been a weapon. It's got to be one this week as well.
Yep, and the good thing is we should have Barger back for the whole game. He only played really 1 or 2 plays the other night, and so back there, he'll be back at returning kicks again, him and Stover. So we'll try to work on some stuff for the kickoff returns, and hopefully we can win that special teams game again
Coach, you got any numbers from the Panthers? You can look on both sides of the ball.
Well, they're kind of the receivers are all fairly solid and equal. Their quarterback, number 3, I think he's number 3. He is a very good athlete. He's more of a runner than a passer, but he's adequate at passing. He's a hard-nosed runner. He's almost like a tailback when he brings the ball down and runs it. When you watch him on film against Monterey basically controlled the whole game, and the only score that Stone had on him was a Hail Mary right before halftime. Otherwise, Monterey controls the whole game. And so that score is a little bit misleading in the fact that Stone actually beat those guys. So, that gives us, knowing that, Monterey kind of controlled that and Monterey beat us, we feel like we can do some things to equal the playing field there.
Coach, it's not a region game, but it's a big momentum game. It could be a big lift or it could be a big deficit if you can't come up with a win this week.
You definitely don't want to go down there and lay an egg and look bad. We need the thing we got to worry about ourselves and just improve on what they're doing, because we got some guys that moved around some new spots in the last couple of weeks, and if we can just improve each week, I think we'll be okay, but we definitely want to go down there and make a good showing.
And how good would it be to come away with a big win?
Oh, it'd be huge. It makes it a lot easier to get up on Saturday mornings with a win, and I'm sure the guys. You want to see your guys leaving the field with a little bit of a little pep in their step, and it's not been that way, last week, and I'm hoping that we can change that for the rest of this year as we head down this stretch.
And, of course, it would be, like I said, some momentum builder. It'd be really good as you're headed into that Wartburg game next week.
It would be huge to have that momentum win a game. And it's not just Wartburg. It's homecoming, too. That's going to be homecoming the next week. So a lot of stuff will be going on for these guys. And it's always exciting for the students and the kids for homecoming when you have that. But if you don't win that, it's not that fun.
Coach, we got to have a big crowd go over to Stone. That's not that far a trip.
Yeah, driving over across, everybody goes there all the time. Hopefully, we can bring them down there and make them go home happy.
And of course, that 12th man's always important.
Yeah, we need them. We need them bad, and I'm sure we'll have a pet bus down there as well.
Well, Coach, well, thank you for joining us, and best of luck. You head to Stone this week.
Appreciate it, Gary. Thanks.
That's going to do it for this edition of Coach Kerry Johnson Sports Show. Be sure to turn out Friday night, York at Stone Memorial. Kickoffs at 7 p.m. They need you there, so be there. Till then, for 15104 Sports, I'm Gary Clark. See you at the game.